I acquired 250 plots of land. My reason of acquiring this land is to build IGBO village in Ghana. I call it Amandi Igbo in Ghana. We'll build a village where we're gonna build the palace of Igbo there.
Ndewonu ụmụnne m ndị Igbo ndị ọma njem ọnụ ekelekwa m unu ebe nsi ewetara unu ozi a bụ n'ụlọ ozi ndị sim.si ha asịrị FM aka ma bụkwa nwanne gị nwoke 042 Solex onye akụkọ ụwa. Ihe onyonyo a ị na-ahụ n'iru ebe a bụ gbasara ihe nke na-akpọtụ akpọtụ n'efere mba ụwa kamgbe mkpụrụ ụbọchị ole na ole gara aga ugbu a bụ maka nwanne anyị nwoke onye nke aha ya bụ Eze Dr. Ambassador Chukwudi Ihenetu, bụ onye nke ama dịka eze ndị Igbo na Ghana, onye nke si na ọ chọrọ ịrụrụ ndị Igbo obodo ọzọ na Ghana, na ọ zụọla ala sara mbara. Ala obosara ya ruru eka 50 bụ over 50 acres of land nke ọ zụrụ na mba Ghana, ebe ọ chọrọ ịrụ ihe ọ kpọrọ IGBO village. Dịka o siri wee kwuo, ọ sị na ewepụ Virginia na mba USA na onweghị ebe ọzọ na mba ụwa gbaa gburugburu ebe enwere IGBO village, na ọ chọrọ ịbụ onye mbụ ga-arụ IGBO village ma nọ na mba Ghana ka ọ chọrọ ịrụ ya. Ọtụtụ n'ime unu ga-ahụla ya bụ ihe onyonyo nke na-efegharị, ma ya bụ okwu nke o kwukwaranụ were ndị mba Ghana iwe nke ukwuu, dịka ọtụtụ ụmụ ikorobịa na ụmụ agbọghọbịa ndị ya bụ obodo si na nke ahụ agaghị eme, si ma onye kwudiri ụdị okwu a, ma kedu ihe butedịrị inwe eze ndị obodo ọzọ na obodo ha na ala ha wee si na nke ahụ agaghị eme. Mana tupu anyị aga n'iru kwuwe ihe ndị mere ka o kwuchara ya bụ okwu, ka anyị burugodo ụzọ nye anya na ya bụ ihe onyonyo ebe nwanne anyị nwoke ahụ bụ eze ndị Igbo na Ghana kwuru okwu ahụ. Ya mere asịla na Solex si kama lere onyonyo ya.
Igbo has got a very rich culture that must be encouraged. He believes the past and present leaders from Igbo as a nation from the Nigerian state deserves more. The father of all projects on his mind is the establishment of the first Igbo town in Ghana, and of course, the first in the world.
If you look around the world, apart from in Virginia, they have IGBO village in Virginia. They created it by putting the antiques, the antiquities of Igbo there. You can come there, kind of archive of Igbo. But I'm creating IGBO village, which has never happened in the history of the world among the Igbos in the world. As I'm talking to you, I've acquired 50 acres of land, that is 250 plots of land along the Flower Road, that is at Old Ningo area. Along that road, it's right on the road. I acquired 250 plots of land. My reason of acquiring this land is to build IGBO village in Ghana. I call it Amandi Igbo in Ghana. We'll build a village where we're gonna build the palace of Igbo there, a huge palace. We'll build Igbo town hall there with about 2,000 capacity chairs and 100 rooms guest house. The essence of this guest house is most of the times our governors and our Igbo great leaders do come to Ghana. You know, they always go with their entourage. If they come to Ghana, their entourage will see where they will lodge for free of charge, maybe for a day or two. Most of their visits, it doesn't take more than 48 hours or 24 hours. They stay there free of charge, and they know that, yes, this is what they have benefited from the Igbos living in Ghana. Again, our people that have accommodation problem and all that will come there at least for 2 or 3 days before they can get a out of the country, or those that come into the country in one way or the other will have accommodation of 100 rooms guest house. We will also, in the palace of the Igbo, we also have apartment there for special guests like governors and ministers. And in future, I know that we, the Igbos, will provide president in Nigeria. And I know that the president that will rule Nigeria at time to come must be an Igbo man. And one day, by the special grace of God, he also going to be part of those that are going to lodge at the guest house there in Igbo village. In that Igbo village, my good brother, what I want to do there is we'll create streets there. We'll create streets that will represent the names of the ancient Igbos. We'll create the streets that will bear the name of Sambakwe Street. That's the ex-governor of Imo State. We'll create a street that will bear the name of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first president of Nigeria. We'll create a street that will bear the name of Nzogu. We'll create a street that will bear, of course, the name of my father also, Zemaladi Henetu. And all the great Igbo leaders that they have gone, and those are present, will create streets in their name that will represent them in Igbo village in Ghana. And this Igbo village in Ghana, every Igbo man all over the world have right to come there and buy property. Either you want a plot of land or 2 plots of land to build your dream house. We're also going to build tall buildings of maybe 6th floor or 7th floor. We'll sell them flat by flat. And we will have a single entrance in this Igbo village. When you come in there, you know you're coming into Igbo village in Ghana. From there, Igbos will expand. We will build markets there. Igbo market will represent there. Igbo school will be built there. We will create transport section there also. We will create what we call Ezigbo garden. In Igbo language, you call it Mbala Ezigbo. Ezigbo garden meaning where we create about 4 plots of land. We use 4 plots of land for that, for Ezigbo garden, where we're going to plant yam, plant all the trees, all the leaves you can get in Igbo land. Okwa, ube, akubeke, mtoroba, oha, we're gonna also plant yam there. We'll plant ube there. We'll plant all these things so that at the time of New Year Festival of Ezigbo, we'll go to the Mbala there. We'll go to the garden there to get our New Year Festival. In there, you will see that yes, that's the Igbo tradition is really represented.
Ọkụikirichala ya bụ ihe onyonyo. Ọ dị mma, abụghị obere ihe. Nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Chief Dr. Chukwudi Ihenetu, ana m asị gị daalụ ọlụ maka ya bụ ọmarịcha echiche nke ị nwere. Kedu ihe m ga-ekwukwanụ? Ihe ọbụla mmadụ bụ n'uche ọ chọrọ ime ka ọ bara ndị Igbo n'uru bụ ọmarịcha echiche, n'agbanyeghị na ọ bụghị ọmarịcha echiche niile bụ ihe ga-amịta mkpụrụ, maka na a sị na uche onye adịghị ya njọ, n'uche ya mgbe ọ na-akwado ya bụ ihe ọ bụ ọmarịcha echiche. Mana ka m kwukwa n'uche m nke nji bụrụ mmadụ. Na mbụ, ana m asị na ya bụ nwanne anyị nwoke nke mbụ, dịka o si wee na-akọwa nọọ ihe gbasara ndị Igbo ka ọ ga-esi abara ndị Igbo n'uru. Ọ dị mma, mana anyị na-ekwukwa n'ụdị ihe a ka anyị na-elegakwara n'anya ụdị ihe anyị na onwe anyị ga-ekwetanwu ma ndị ọzọ bịa na be anyị ime ụdị ihe ahụ. Kedu asị na ndị obodo ọzọ abata n'ala Igbo ugbu a si na ha azụrụ ala na ha chọrọ imepe obodo nke ha, anyị bụ ndị Igbo anyị ga-ekwe ya? Dịka otu a anyị na ndị Fulani na-agbagharị kamgbe afọ ole ugbu a, ndị bi n'ime ọhịa, anyị si ha si n'ime ọhịa pụta na ha chọrọ ibi n'ala anyị, ha pụta na ebe ndị mmadụ bi na township bịa ha yara ụlọ makwa na ụrụ ụlọ arụ. A sịkwanụ na ndị Fulani hụ ụdị nke a sị ebe ndị Igbo sizi na ha ga-aganwu na obodo ndị ọzọ gaa zụrụ ala wee mepee obodo nke ha, na ha chọkwara ịbịa n'ala Igbo bịa zụrụ ala mepee Fulani village, anyị ga-ekwe? Nke ahụ wee dịgodere onwe ya n'akụkụ. Wee na-asịkwa ya bụ n'ihe a niile anyị na-eti mkpu ebe a ụtụtụ na ehihie na abalị ụbọchị niile n'ihe na-eme n'ala Igbo, si onye ọbụla tinye aka ka anyị mezie ala Igbo, ka ndị Igbo latawa ụlọ. Na ọ bụ ihe jọrọ njọ na ọtụtụ ụmụaka ndị Igbo mụrụ n'ebe na-abụghị ala Igbo kamgbe ihe dịka afọ 4 afọ 5 gara aga ugbu a na onwebe nke akpọlatara ụlọ. Anyị na-eti ya bụ mkpu si onye ọbụla tinyekwa aka ebe ọbụla ị ga-etinyenwu, nke ọbụla ị ga-emenwu gị meta iwe ka emezie ala Igbo ka ala Igbo dị mma. Wee na-asị ya bụ na ihe a niile anyị na-eti mkpu, onye ọbụla wetewe akụnụba ya latawa ụlọ na kuru ụlọ amara onye kpara ya. Wee na-ajụ, ọ pụtara na ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ ewepụladị uche n'ihe gbasara n'ala Igbo ka ga-adị mma ọzọ? Ọ pụtara na ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ eluzuola hope, ma sụọ ya n'olu bekee, na ihe kazi mma bụ ije chọwazịa obodo ọzọ ebe a ga-azụ ala wee rụọrọ ndị Igbo obodo? Nwanne m nwoke, nke adabaghịkwa m n'anya. Ọ dabaghị m n'anya ma ọlị. Ma ya bụ ihe nke na-ekwo ugbu a ebutewerela anyị ọtụtụ mkparị, ọtụtụ akaja na ọtụtụ okwu ihere nke si ma n'ọnụ ndị mba Ghana ma na ọnụ ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ n'obodo Naijiria, bụ ndị anyị na ha bi n'obodo Naijiria, ndị anyị makwa ndị kpọrọ ndị Igbo asị. mana na-etufughị oge ka anyị anya na otu ihe onyonyo nke si na mba Ghana wee pụta nke gbasakwara ya bụ okwu, bụ ihe onyonyo gosiri ọtụtụ ụmụafọ Ghana dịka ha pụtara ime ngagharị iwe wee sị na ya bụ eze ndị Igbo na Ghana ga-esiriri n'obodo ha wee laa. Ka m bịakwanụ. Ọkwa ịhụla nke ahụ. Ihe onyinye ọzọ anyị ga-ekirikwa sikwa na mba Ghana wee pụta, nke si n'aka otu onye mgbasa ozi nke ama ama na mba Ghana, ebe ọ na-ekwukwu okwu gbasara ya bụ ihe onwe ihe ya bụ nwa amadi gwafọrọ ndị Naijiria, na ihe ọ pụtara ugbu a na o doola anya na obodo anyị ekweghịzi anyị imezi, na anyị chọziri ịgbapụ ka anyị gawazie ebe ọzọ ga mepewezie obodo ọhụrụ. Ka anyị anya n'ihe onyinyo nke ahụ ka m pụtakwanụ.
Important issue to discuss. First of all, welcome to Tuntum Network. My name is Cyrus. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell for more of my videos. This is a tough one that I have to do, knowing the number of Nigerian friends I have and how this may affect our relationship moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact of the matter is this: the more we don't speak truth to one another in the face, the more it becomes everyone else's problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is our neighbor and friend. Nigeria is the heartbeat of Africa. They are the sound and rhythm of Africa to the world because of their sheer size and talents. That is undeniable. Africa's name, to some extent, goes as far as Nigeria goes in many ways. They are a force to reckon with, and that force, ladies and gentlemen, is also a problem to deal with. This is a country its people speak the loudest, both within and outside their borders, in spite of the many terminal challenges they face every day. This is a country whose spirit isn't easily broken. And if you are objective enough, you will concur with these facts, ladies and gentlemen. But a large percentage of the people of this country have chosen a pathway that cannot be encouraged, whether in Ghana, in South Africa, or in any part of the world. And this is what they have done. Ladies and gentlemen, they have given up on the fight to fix their own country and resorted to looking for what they couldn't achieve or cannot achieve in their own country, in other people's countries. And ladies and gentlemen, this shouldn't have been a problem because every other African country actually does it. Except that they are looking for this success by any means necessary and in the shortest possible time. This is the canker that plagues majority of young Nigerian immigrants anywhere they go. Shockingly, ladies and gentlemen, they are of the view that people outside of their country are not as driven and aggressive towards becoming successful as they are, not knowing that it is those same tendencies that's made their country the mess it is in. Many of them are therefore driven into all sorts of illegal enterprises anywhere they settle, getting rich by all means necessary in the shortest possible time. This is what Nigeria is being known for now. Who doesn't want this? But is that acceptable? It has gotten to the point that they don't care how a person makes their money, so long as the person makes their money. But you and I know that that's not how it's understood in other places. Nigeria, your people are running from your country as though the entire country is at war. Both men and women, young and old, to every other country. You have now become Africa's most emigrated country, meaning you have the largest number of people living abroad compared to any other African countries. This was true 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, and same today, and the number isn't slowing down because the factors that causes this is still expanding. Your social media content creators who indulge in politics are either doing it with comedy to trivialize the repercussions of their words, or are doing it outside of your country for fear of their lives. Almost every well-meaning person who speaks truth to issues in Nigeria lives outside of Nigeria. Fear and terror have hijacked your country at every front. There is no non-politician fighting for the change that can bring a difference in your country anymore. Almost every relevant voice in your country is either silenced or paid at this point. Therefore, the fight other countries have to put in to attain the peace you see and desire is what you have denied and declined. It doesn't work like this, Nigeria. Nigeria, instead of trying to make yourselves relevant in other countries, instead of trying to insert yourselves into the social fabric of other countries by all means necessary, how about this? How about you go back home and build your country? You have a country that could use a lot of the smart people. How be it, ladies and gentlemen, that the ones who claim to be smart are leaving or have left the country? Ladies and gentlemen, who have they left behind? How will you build your country like this? You have abandoned your country to politicians and cabals whose interest is similar actually to yours. And here is my explanation to that. Similar to yours in the sense that these politicians and cabals have conquered the country and now enjoy the monopoly of their powers and will hold on to it by any means necessary as long as they can. And that same spirit, ladies and gentlemen, is what most young Nigerians carry around to other countries. Are you any different, if I may ask? You want to dominate and entrench your dominion by all means necessary in the country you've moved to for as long as you can, just like your politicians and your cabals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the chaos in your country, and the same chaos is being exported to other African countries and to most parts of the world. You have for years elected leaders with similar mindset that has been proven over time to not work, and you don't seem to change. You have allowed for a system that manipulates and rigs election in favor of people who are clueless about nation building to lead. You have a 73-year-old president who's definitely older than 73, complaining about Nigeria not producing anything to the media. The people are complaining to the government, and the president is complaining to the media. Ladies and gentlemen, can't you see the mismatch in those who lead your country and how that has been the crux of your challenges? Does the president of Nigeria know that it is his responsibility to handle this situation or not, ladies and gentlemen? Old man ruling the most dominant country in Africa, forcing every one of you to run to other places, seeking for change and recognition which you can't even find in your own home country. What other change is there for you apart from the changing of the leadership of your country for once in your lives, Nigeria? Now all of Africa will have to endure and suffer the onslaught of challenges many of your people migrate with. This cannot continue. And now an Igbo man running around in Ghana claims to be king. King of what exactly? If he is the king of Igbos as he claims, then it's more meaningful when he rules from an Igbo land, don't you think? Listen, I like the audacity with which he speaks and carries himself around, but I would love to see that same energy and audacity carried out in Nigeria instead. Could he have had such a voice in any village in Nigeria? He can only do this here because we, the Ghanaian people, have opened our doors to all. But this must stop. Mr. President of Ghana, be guided on how you go about this situation, because the youth of Ghana who made you president are talking on every platform on social media. Our voices are united against anything or anyone that would want to undermine our constitution. Mr. President, stop giving unnecessary validation to this man and his likes. The more he runs around associating and snapping pictures with you, the more he goes around parroting the idea of being someone of significance in our country, which he is actually not. You have a country to run, Mr. President. You must be busy. Your ministers of state and the members of parliament and all don't have to compromise on any level for this man. The Igbo man is a foreigner on our land and not a royal. He can be a king amongst his people in Ghana, but that shouldn't be carried out onto our own people. And ultimately, this is what I want to say to Nigeria. Claiming the giant of Africa status for yourselves is not in words, but in deeds. Be the giant at home first of all. Go home and begin the process of everything you are looking for out there. Go home and get it started. You have the men, you have the resources, and the attention of the world. What you need is to direct it to where the problem originates. The problem is not in the system of Ghana or South Africa or how any country treats you, because those systems were not built for you. The problem is with your own broken system. You have the financial muscle to mobilize the needed funds for this cause if you choose, but that will be when you make that decision to choose to go and save your country. The people of Nigeria can set up their own political party if that's what will bring the change. But you cannot do that while living overseas or running all the time. You need men and women on the ground to play the role of foot soldiers, ladies and gentlemen. You must go back and be a part of the change you want, or else don't try effecting those changes in other people's countries.
Akụikirichala ya bụ ihe onyonyo. N'ikpeazụ, ihe onyonyo ọzọ anyị ga-enyo anya na ya na nkenke oge bụ nke si na TikTok wee pụta bụ nkata nke ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ na-akpakwa n'ihe gbasara ya bụ okwu nke na-ekwo. Ka anyị nụnụ ihe otu nwoke onye ofe mmanụ ji ọnụ wee mee ndị Igbo ebe ahụ. O nweghị ụdị ebubo ọ na-eboghị ndị Igbo ebe ahụ. Ka anyị nyoo anya n'ihe onyonyo nke ahụ ka m pụtakwanụ.
Through his ritual money, after gaining their heart, then now he went and bought 50 acres of land. What next? To flood the terrorists. Before you know, Ghana will start experiencing what Nigeria is experiencing today. Before you know, Ghanaians cannot walk in the night anymore. One sister said this thing just now. An Igbo guy go to Ghana, start videoing, making videos, claiming he is a content creator, start telling them that, oh, Ghana can walk in the night, oh, Ghana can, white people can walk in Ghana freely. Oh. He's trying to attract terrorists to Ghana. Before you know, the whole Igbo will flood Ghana and start doing all sorts of nonsense. They say they are Biafras, but when you catch them, that, oh, we are Nigerians, you understand? You see how they are. Let me tell you how the Igbos operate so that you will know. An Igbo man will come to this platform right now or walk up to you face to face and tell you, oh, we are not aware that this man is claiming to be king in Ghana. Oh, we are not. He is a liar. The Igbos, they have groups where they discuss everything they do. Do you know this thing that is going on in Ghana? Majority of the politicians in Nigeria are funding it. They are aware of it. You see the reason why we don't want to vote for any
sorry to say, you believe that former governor of Imo State came to visit this man, Okosha.
Okay, good. You see him?
Former governor of a state came to visit this man in Ghana. What is their motive?
Hold on, Josh. See, Ghanaians, there is no Igbo, big or small, that is different. They are all acting like, ships. Ships, when you are leading ships, they go to one direction. Mm-hmm. That's how the Igbos are. Both big and small. Both the ones abroad, they are sponsoring. If, there's one of my friends called Ikwere, I would like to bring him to this platform. We will try to put him on big screen. He will show you a lot of things. Do you know that the Igbos went to import guns to bring to Nigeria to empower their terrorist group? You see the reason why they don't like Buhari, because Buhari dealt with them badly. He dealt with them, the terrorist group. They are in Igbo land. There are some communities in Igbo land that you cannot go to. They have unalived so many people in that community. That's why you see them running to Ghana. This thing Ghanaians are doing is paining me. It's making me angry. That's why you see South Africa. I love South Africa people so much. Ghanaians are coming online to talk about this for what? If it's South Africa people, they will take action straight. You understand? Why come online to discuss what we do? Take action straight. Why should they allow such things to happen in your country? For what reason? Somebody who is not indigenous of your country, you are not from a royal family in Nigeria. Your father is not a king. You don't have a royal blood. You just went to a country, a peaceful country in Africa, to buy 50. If you see this, if you should investigate deep now, you see that majority of this money that came for this land were donated by the big men, the Igbo elites. They made this donation so that they will expand their terrorist group into Ghana. They can't try this in Benin Republic. They can't try it in Togo because those French people, they don't take shit. They deal with them squarely. It's because Ghanaians are peaceful people, and the president of Ghana and president of Nigeria, they are like siblings. They just laugh and joke over things. This is a serious matter that you don't need to wait for government. Let the people of Ghana start protesting now. They must stop this nonsense. Otherwise, your country, in years to come, you start experiencing what we are experiencing in Nigeria. These people are terrorists.
ehe ọkwa ịnụla ka ha si wee na-agba asịrị nke ahụ. Ya bụ nwanne anyị nwoke bụ eze ndị Igbo na Ghana. Eji m aka na ụdị ala ọ zụrụ na Ghana ọ chọrọ iji wee rụọ ihe a. Eji m aka na ọ zụọla ala ha otu ahụ na obodo ya ma rụkwanụ ihe ruru ihe ahụ ọ chọrọ ịrụ na Ghana. Ma nke bụ eziokwu bụ na ọ dị mma ichebe echiche ihe ị ga-eme n'obodo ị nọ ka ọ bara ụmụnne gị uru n'obodo ahụ. Mana a sị dịrị na ọ bụ na esi na ị chọrọ ịrụ họtel na mba Ghana ahụ nke ọ ga-abụ onwe Igbo politishan ma ọkwanụ nwa afọ Igbo bịara mba Ghana na-achọ accommodation ebe ọ ga-anọ etinye ya na ya bụ họtel ma ọkwanụ guest house mkpụrụ ụbọchị ole a ga-etinyenwu ya ebe ahụ tupu ọ lawa ma ọkwanụ chọwazie ụzọ ọzọ ọ ga-eso okwu odidi. Ma ọkwanụ ọ bụrụ na esi na ị chọrọ ịrụ ihe dịka shopping mall ebe ọ ga-abụ ụdị nri Igbo ọbụla ma ọkwanụ ụdị ekike Igbo ọbụla ihe ọbụla gbasara ndị Igbo nke mmadụ chọrọ ịzụ ọbịa ebe ahụ na ọ ga-enweta ya. Anyị ga-akụrụ gị aka na nke ahụ. Ma ọ bụ na ị chọrọ na ịzụọla ala ahụ na ị chọrọ iji ya wee na-arụ ọrụ ugbo na ị chọrọ ị na-akọpụta nri ndị Igbo na Ghana, anyị ga-akụrụ gị nnukwu aka. Mana nke bụzi ịga wee rụọ ọrụ ndị Igbo obodo ọzọ na Ghana, nwanne m nwoke akwadoghịkwa m nke ahụ. Akwadoghị m nke ahụ. Mana gị bụ onye na-ekiri ihe onyonyo a, leere ebumnuche gị. Kedu ka isi wee hụ ya bụ ihe nke ikiriri ugbu a na ngalaba okwu ka anyị mara uche gị, n'ihi na uche onye adịghị ya njọ. Daalụkwa gị onye na-eso ebere anyị sonye. Ekelekwa m gị onye asị gị jide ka iji, onye asị ya jide ka o ji, ị mara na nke o ji kacha mma. Ekpere m bụ na Chineke nna ga na-anọnyere gị ọpụpụ gị na mbata gị, na-etinyere gị aka n'ezi ihe niile nke ị na-eme. Gị taa ka bụkwanụ mbụ ị na-ahụ ihe onyonyo anyị, asị gị nnọọ. Onye gị na ya ka nọkwa bụ 042 Solex, onye akụkọ ụwa n'iru akwụkwọ efere mba ụwa. Ya mere ọ bụrụ na ka m mere dị gị mma n'obi, nwanne biko, ọ bụ na Facebook ọ na Instagram ka na-ahụ onyonyo a, pịara m follow. Ọ bụ na YouTube ka ị na-ekiri ya bụ ihe onyonyo, pịara m subscribe ya na mgbịrịgba anya n'akụkụ ka ị nwee ike na-enweta ihe onyonyo ndị ọzọ m ga na-ewetara gị n'ọdịnihu. Igbo ndị ọma njem ọnụ, Igbo mụrụ nze m ọzọ, ekelekwa m unu wee na-asị na ọ ga na-adịrị unu niile mma o. Ise ngwa tụsawara m ihe onyonyo a na-atụsara m ya bụ ihe onyonyo na-apịrị maka na share button ya mara gị mma ezigbo mmadụ. Udo dịrị unu.